images helped promote sexual immorality of all kinds in those parts. Paul had done a great work in Ephesus during his 3-year ministry. So all they which dwelt in the province of Asia heard the word of the Lord Jesus Christ. What a ministry, what a minister. It was not easy for Timothy to follow a man like Paul. Of course, Satan had his workers in the city. For wherever there are spiritual opportunities, there are also satanic obstacles. And everybody needs to remember that and understand that. A lot of the casualties, a lot of the disasters that we see in evangelical believing circles today are not always because people were lost. They ran into the buzzsaw of Satan. The reason why you are having some problems in your marriage is not because you're not being faithful to Christ, it's because you are being faithful to Christ. And so the prosperity gospel has it twisted in our society today. Dr. Worsby continues, Paul wrote the letter we call 1 Timothy to encourage Timothy, to explain how a local church should be managed, and to enforce his own authority as a servant of God. End of quote. And so, ladies and gentlemen, with that, America, the country once described as a shining city on a hill, is much like the city of Ephesus today. Sexual immorality has grown rampant and extended now and accepted by many people, sanctioned by the government. The sin that caused twin cities to be destroyed many years ago. Sodom and Gomorrah. Men running after men. Women running after women. And this has infected the church far more than what you people think. Satan is at work in the church and the world. In fact, Satan might be busier in the church today than he is in the world. Many pastors, like Timothy, are growing weary and discouraged. I heard of a conference recently. I never heard of a conference like this before. They had the conference because so many pastors were discouraged because they're losing so many people. And under the pressure of homosexuality coming into the church and so many other things, and preachers and quitting and falling by the wayside. So they had a conference to address the discouragement of preachers. I said, wow. Those who preach the whole counsel of God are pushed to the side in favor of speakers who are not even called by God. They're just volunteers who will tickle people's ears and make them feel good. With the church in the state that it is in, it is easy to see why so many Christians are discouraged by the state the country is in. But there is a solution to the ills of our society. And that solution starts, first of all, with prayer. And in closing, as Dr. John Walvoord and Dr. Roy Zuck point out in their fine work, in this passage, regarding prayer in this passage, from his concerns, that is Paul, from his concerns about false teachers, Paul turned to matters relating not much weight should be placed on the presumed distinctions between requests, prayers, and intercession. The terms are more likely designed to build on one another for emphasis. It should be noted, however, that thanksgiving should have a prominent place in the church's prayer life. The Ephesian church was to pray for everyone, but especially for the leaders of civil government. And the reason why, one of the main reasons why we have the mess going on in our country today, that our president is trying to clean up as I speak, is because of prayerless pastors and preachers and evangelists and Christian people. From 40 years of experience of preaching the gospel and preaching the word in black churches, white churches, and mixed churches, the biggest sin and failure of pastors, by their own admission and confession to me personally, is prayerlessness. I've had several pastors to admit on their own that they don't pray as they should. And dear friend, if the pastors are not praying, the people are not praying. And in the words of Leonard Ravenhill, if you're not praying, you're playing and straying. We need pastors, preachers, and Christian people praying for our leaders and for our country, or we will have civil war, chaos, and carnage in the streets for years to come. I'm reminded of what Catherine Lee Bates said. So many years ago. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of rain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crowned thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for pilgrim feet, whose stern and passing stress the thoroughfare for freedom beat across the wilderness. America, America, God mend thine every flaw, confirm thy soul in self-control, thy liberty in law. Dear friends, God bless you until next time.